You guys, we're going to bring up for our next comedian, and I've known him for probably over a decade. He's one of my very favorites. You guys are going to love him. He performs all over. Please warm welcome Kip Hart, everybody. Kip Hart. Yeah, give it up for Mark. That was a lot of fun, wasn't it? Yeah. I tell you, I'm just happy to be considered middle-aged. That means I'm going to live to be 130. I was out there earlier kind of hanging out in the hallway, and I got a text from my wife. It said, "I'm leaving you." She sent another one right after that that said, "Sorry, that wasn't meant for you." To be continued, right? So it's been a weird year already for me. Recently, I failed a pregnancy test. I was in line at the grocery store, and I asked the lady that was in front of me when she was due. I know, she was pretty upset. But I get it, I should have asked her before I started rubbing her belly. "Is that a baby in there? You're just glad to see me." It turns out it was neither. So. Well, I'm sure you're all dying to hear what my preferred pronouns are. Actually, I'm trying out some Christian pronouns, like thee and thou, and hypocrite. I'll tell you, Christians hate to be called hypocrites, especially in strip clubs. I mean, you'd think you'd know. It's weird, when they're trying to take the offering with the G string. God bless you and your baby daddy, Sister Portia. So I had the privilege of growing up in the 60s. We were smothered in hairspray and secondhand smoke. That's right, we kicked the crap out of that ozone layer. Yeah, I had to get a chest x-ray, and all they found was a can of Aquanet and half a pack of Marlboro Reds. Everybody smoked in the 60s, my parents, grandparents. We had a Chihuahua that smoked 2 packs a day. Made those shaky, nicotine St. Paws, smoker's bark. Just wheezing at the mailman. They say that smoking just one cigarette shortens your life by 3.5 minutes. And 1 pack of menthols lowers your credit score by 100 points. So I got this beard. How about that? Ladies love it because it covers most of my face. And I'll be honest, I started growing the beard because I'm lazy. I thought it'd be easier than shaving. Turns out it's like having a high maintenance pet. I have to take it for walks. It sniffs butts, drinks out of the toilet. And the smell. Well, sometimes it smells like a field of lavender. And sometimes it smells like chili. And sometimes it smells like chili in a field of lavender. So I'm going to call that a win. So, Mark, my name is Kip, by the way, in case you forgot already. It's Kip with 2 P's. The first P is silent, so it got really awkward. So, my parents wanted to name me Jonathan, but they didn't want people to call me John, so they named me Kippy. It's like they got together and said, "You know what? Let's just get rid of all this potential." So I did a little research to see if Kippy had any historical significance. Nope. However, it is slang in different regions. Like, for example, in Eastern Canada, Kippy means attractive young woman. In New Jersey, it means erection. So it looks like I'm never going to New Jersey. And interesting, kip is actually slang in Ireland for a couple of different things. It's slang for dilapidated and nap. If it wasn't so accurate, I'd be upset. Even the bullies at school, they didn't know what to do. You know, they'd come up to me and they'd say, "What's your name?" "Kippy." "Well, I guess our work here is done." So, yeah, but childhood's full of trauma, right? Yeah, you know, like I remember one time I walked in on my grandmother, and she didn't have a pajama top on. The first breasts I ever saw were 3 feet long. Well, that's not accurate. One of them was 3.5 feet long. But she didn't even flinch. She was vacuuming, and they were just swinging back and forth. And they started doing that weird thing where they twirl in opposite directions. I didn't know what to do, so I just threw $1 in the bed and ran away. My dog died recently. I don't know, it's sad, but and somebody said, "They're just like family," and I disagree. Hear me out. Now I understand when your dog dies, you're sad, of course. But somebody shows up a week later with a puppy, everything's okay. When your favorite granny dies, somebody can't just show up a week later. "I got a new Grammy here for you." I know she's calico, but she was the last one in the litter. So I used to work at Disneyland. You guys remember that place? Yeah. All right. I don't know, I'm popular there anymore. So I'm going to tell you some stories about Disneyland. I worked there for quite a while. I worked at the Jungle Cruise. So, and it's funny at the Jungle Cruise because they wanted us to pretend like the animals are real. And then they wanted to drug test us. You know, make up your mind. So if I had a theme for my tenure there, working at the Jungle Cruise, the theme would be Kip didn't get fired. Now, so I'll give you an example. So one of the managers came up to me one day, and she said, "Kip, we were talking about you in the manager's meeting." And that's rarely good news, if you know what I mean. But she said, one of the managers said, "The Kip can say anything, and the guests don't get mad." And she said, "That's true, because I've seen it happen." So so this little girl gets on my boat, and she has a birthday button on her name is Sasha. I said, "Hi, Sasha, how old are you today?" And she looked up at me and she said, 9. I said, "Oh, you know what? You and I have a lot in common. When I was 9, I was a girl too." That's the magic. See, the problem is the stuff that happens up here, there's nothing to stop it coming out here. I don't know, I'm not sure if it's a gift, but, so another time I was working, the disability access line comes through the exit. If you're not familiar with Jungle Cruise, there's just a little stall and it's got a rope for a gate. And so I was working that line, and all I have to do is I small talk with the guests, how many in your group, and I send them on to the next boat and hang the rope up. So I got bored, and I started calling the rope the fiery rope of death. So I would send the group, and I'd tell the next group, please don't touch the fiery rope of death, and I'd hang the rope up. So I started doing that for a while, so I sent the next group over, and I'm hanging the rope, and I said, please don't touch the fiery rope of death, and I look up, and and I'm face to face with an 80% burn victim. Could have been 82%, I don't know. But he looked like a melted Yankee candle. Yeah, so, there's no filter there. So anyway, so I'm wondering who's gonna speak first. Unfortunately, he bailed me out because he said, already been there. Thank God for him, right? Yeah. So, this happened during Jingle Cruise. We used to have a Christmas themed jungle. And by this time, I'd already been doing comedy a little while, so you get a feel. So I'd always tell a joke to get a kind of feel for the boat and see where they're at, so I know what I'm going to tell them. So I told this joke. I said, I can't remember the joke I told, but when I told it, complete silence. Just like right now. You could hear a pin drop in Tomorrowland. And for some reason, I turned around, the boat's this way. I turned around and I said, that's right, kids, there's no Santa Claus. Exactly, that's exactly what happened. So now, I'm thinking, oh my God, I just lost my job. So I tell a couple more jokes, and they're not having it. So, did I apologize? Oh no. I doubled down. And I started singing, Santa Claus is coming to town. But now we all know he's not coming. So we get back to the dock finally. And as we're finishing up the trip, I said, you guys, I'll leave you folks with this. Astronomers tell us that when you wish upon a star, well, you're a few million years too late. Because that star's dead. Just like your dreams. Still didn't get fired. This little girl walked up to me one day. I was at the reader area on the front, and she had a princess dress on. She's probably 6. I already hate her. She got her dress, and she's flowing it like this. And she looked up at me and she said, I am a princess. And I looked down at her. And what I wanted to say was, no, you're not. Your parents just dress you up to make up for the love they can't give you. What I said was, you know what? You and I have a lot in common. When I was your age, I was a princess too. I'll leave you guys with this. I love going to movies. You guys like going to movies? I love the whole thing, the popcorn. It's like $1 million now to go see a movie. But the only thing, I don't like going by myself. It's awkward. Like the other night, I was at the movies, and I was eating popcorn, and the guy sitting next to me kept touching my hand. And finally, he leaned over and he whispered in my ear, buy your own popcorn. Thank you, folks. You are a great crowd.